Hello, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the kickoff meeting for the Community Outreach and Education Services, MSA. At this meeting today, we will talk about the procedures that the contractors will use in this MSA to provide services to the state and local governmental agencies. Please have your mics muted and have your camera off. If you have any questions regarding the Community Outreach and Education Services MSA, please enter them into the chat. Please also enter your name and the organization that you're with in the chat. If time allows, we will answer as many questions as possible towards the end of this presentation. If we are not able to answer all the questions, we will consolidate all of the questions, answer them, and email them to all the contractors. Additionally, this meeting is being recorded. This recorded presentation will be provided to any contractor that requests it. Furthermore, this kickoff meeting is for informational purposes only. Verbal statements made in this meeting will not be legally binding. All terms and conditions are outlined in your MSA. Okay, this slide shows the agenda for today's meeting. We are going to do introductions, then go over some of the resources available to you. We will cover the MSA overview, point of contact information, the DGS MSA website agency user instructions, the ordering process, and your key responsibilities as a contractor for the MSA, including the reporting requirements. Okay, now we will go ahead and get started with the introduction, starting with myself. My name is Joe O'Connor, and I'm the contract administrator for this DGS Master Service Agreement. I will be your main point of contact for all matters pertaining to this MSA and will handle the administrative duties for the MSA, including quarterly reporting and any applicable amendments, just to name a few. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, the contract administrator, at any time. The ultimate goal is to make things flow smoothly in administering the MSA. My contact information is provided here and can also be found in the user instructions, as well as in the emails that I have been sending out. Also today on the call, we have two other representatives from DGS. I would like to ask each person say their name and either their position or role as it pertains to the MSA.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Wong. I'm the supervisor of the Master's Agreement Unit 1, and I oversee the team that will be administering this MSA. First, I want to thank everyone for attending this kickoff meeting. I hope you guys walk away with some valuable information. Most importantly, you have Joe's contact info, but I also want to thank you for participating on this MSA. I know this is new territory for a lot of your organizations, but you're doing some great things, and we're excited to have you all here. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kush Kishore, and I will be the backup contract administrator on the MSA. So if you can't get a hold of Joe, you can always refer to me for any future inquiries. Thanks.
Hey, everyone, let's cover the Community Outreach and Education Services MSA overview. Now I'm going to talk about the role that DGS plays in the MSA. I'll start with a quick overview for those that may not be familiar with the DGS MSA. MSA is an acronym for Master Service Agreement, which is an agreement that agencies can leverage to create user agreements. The MSA is an agreement between DGS and you as a contractor. It is a multiple award MSA comprised of 254 contractor awardees. This Community Outreach and Education Services MSA was created to be used by state and local agencies. Now let's talk about local agencies. The local agencies consist of a city, a county, or a municipality, including the CSU and UC systems. The user agency will create a statement of work that's tailored to their specific needs and use the terms and conditions in the master agreement to create their own specific user agreement. As the contractor, you have been assigned an MSA number, which is specific to your organization. You will use that number on all quarterly reports and any associated emails. DGS is the administrator of the overarching MSA. Individual user agreements created by the state and local agencies are administered by them, the user agency, not by DGS. I am the contract administrator, and I will be your main point of contact for any MSA-related questions and submission of the quarterly reports. Now that you have a better understanding of an MSA and the role of the user agencies, let's talk about how to access your MSA documents. There are two main websites you will use. The DGS procurement website is one, and the Cal eProcure website is the other. This slide shows the DGS PD website with a link provided. The MSA contract details are listed with a description of the contract, the MSA term, and identifies a general description of who the user agencies are. The DGS master unit contact information is also listed. Links to the user instructions and the MSA contractor's contact list are provided there as well. They are the primary tools for the user agencies to use when they are interested in utilizing this MSA. The next 3 slides show a screenshot of how to go to and navigate the Cal eProcure website, also displaying the link in the slide. The individual MSA contract documents are posted here, and this is where the user agencies can retrieve their MSA documents. This is also where you as contractors can search for and also retrieve your MSA documents. To familiarize you with what that looks like from the home page, you would first click on the Quick Links drop-down at the top of the page, and then click Find State Contracts, LPA. The LPA stands for Leverage Procurement Agreement. This will then take you to the State Leverage Procurement Agreements page to search for the Community Outreach and Education contracts. Click in the Contract ID field, and that's located on the left side of the page, and enter along with 4 dashes in your contract number, which is your main contract, the main MSA contract number. This is the number that refers to the MSA as a whole, and then you would hit search. This will then take you to all of the listed contracts. You can then click on the MSA numbers listed in numerical order to see the particular MSA contract documents, which consist of the user instructions and contract exhibits. If you need to view or download your MSA documents, you can retrieve them on the Cal eProcure website. This is the first place that the user agencies should go to for information. Okay. Now we will cover the contractor's responsibilities when using this contract. Now let's talk about the ordering process, specifically request for offer, or referring to the acronym RFO, which I'll make reference to in the next few paragraphs. When an agency wants to use this MSA, they will follow the user instructions posted on the DGS Procurement Division website. These instructions guide them through the process of selecting a contractor. Agencies will develop a statement of work tailored to their project needs. They may reach out to the contractors to gather information that helps them finalize their scope. Once ready, the agency will issue an RFO or request for offer, and they are required to solicit offers for at least 3 eligible MSA contractors. DGS encourages agencies to reach out to more than the minimum when possible. As a contractor, you will receive an RFO. First, review it carefully and follow all the instructions. Secondly, respond by the deadline. Late responses will not be accepted. If selected, you as the contractor and the agency will enter into a user agreement based on the MSA terms. The RFO should include a statement of work with key details such as the user agency's contact information, requested service dates if known, location and description of services, and lastly, any special requirements. This process ensures transparency and fairness while giving agencies flexibility to meet their specific outreach and education needs. Now let's talk about special requirements. User agencies will only send RFOs to the contractors that offer the required personnel classifications. If you receive an RFO but are unable to provide the services, please respond to the user agency to acknowledge receipt and also that you are declining participation. User agencies may include additional terms and conditions in their RFOs, but these must not conflict with the MSA's terms and conditions. For example, they might request specific reporting formats or timelines. Okay, let's take a moment to talk about how local agencies may use this MSA. As a reminder, local governmental agencies may choose to use this MSA. However, they may operate under their own procurement policies and regulations. That means their process for selecting a contractor might look different from the state's RFO process. So if a local agency reaches out to you, don't be surprised if the format or steps vary. Just be aware that they are still leveraging the MSA, but doing so in a way that aligns with their internal procedures. Now let's talk about contractor rates. The Exhibit B1 rate sheet is one of your contract documents and is attached to the signed agreement. The hourly rates listed in the Exhibit B1 rate sheet for each of your individual MSAs are the maximum rates that you can charge under the MSA. When responding to an RFO, you are encouraged to offer lower rates when appropriate, especially if it helps you to remain competitive. All rates must remain firm and fixed for the entire term of the MSA, including any optional one-year extensions. Next, let's talk about the contractor point of contact changes. It is important that if there is a change in the point of contact, it is imperative that you notify me as soon as possible. The reason for this is that we have the MSA contractor list posted on the website, which contains all of the contact information. User agencies use this MSA contractor list to contact you, the contractors, so it must contain accurate contact information that's up to date. If agencies cannot make contact, you may get passed up for potential opportunities. Take a drink of water. Additionally, the user agencies electing to use this MSA will use the contractor list to reach out to the contractors that offer the specific personnel classifications that they are seeking to fulfill the obligations set forth in that user agency statement of work. As an MSA contractor, there are a few things to take note of. All contractor, marketing, and press release materials related to the MSA must be submitted to the DGS contractor administrator, which is going to be me, to be reviewed and approved by DGS before being released to the public. Now let's touch on the quarterly usage reports. You as a contractor will be required to submit quarterly usage activity reports specific to your MSA to the DGS contract administrator. That's me. There's a reporting template that will be used, which we provided previously via email after we distributed the executed agreement to the contract awardees. Just let me know if you did not receive a quarterly reporting template or need another copy, and I will be glad to email it to you. As an example, the first quarter for this contract will be for 3 months. This means July, August, and September, and will be considered the first quarter. A quarterly report must be emailed by you, the contractor, to DGS every quarter, even if there is no usage. That is a mandatory required task. This will inform me that there is zero usage rather than wondering if the contractor just forgot to send the report. It is due by the 15th day following the end of that month's quarter. This will take place 4 times per year, 4 quarters in a year. You will submit your timely report to the master's email inbox as indicated on the slide that's up on the screen right now. Again, it is very important that you submit your completed report by every due date. If you have any questions concerning the quarterly usage reports, please feel free to reach out to me. Now we will look at the quarterly usage report template to help you get acquainted and familiar with it. The current slide shows a screenshot of what the quarterly usage report template looks like. Looking at the first tab, on the lower left side of the quarterly report, it contains the information and instructions. By clicking there, it outlines the 5 steps to follow. There are links that will take you to the individual reporting tabs at the bottom of the page. The instructions tab to the right also includes a reminder of the quarterly reporting periods. That's a good tool for you to use just to make sure you're in the right quarter. This will help you understand when the reports are due and where to begin. The first and current report was due just recently on October 15th of this month for the reporting period from July 1st through September 30th. A sincere thank you to all those of you that submitted your reports on time. If you have not yet submitted your quarterly usage report, please do so as soon as possible. The next screenshot shows the quarterly reporting summary. The contractor should only complete and enter information into the yellow cells on this page. There's a helpful drop-down in the quarter and date field to show you the quarters and matching reporting periods. If there is state and or local agency usage, the totals will auto-populate from the other pages to this summary page in the second tab of the spreadsheet. This tab summarizes the state and local agency spending. The next slide shows a screenshot of the quarterly usage report where the state and local spending specifics will be keyed in by you, the contractor. This is where you will enter the details for agency usage. There are instructions at the top of the page for filling this page out. 2 of the fields will have drop-downs when you click in the respective cell to assist you with the entries for spend type, whether it's state or local, and also the different personnel classifications. The other cells will also require manual entries. So to recap, starting in the cells to the left and working to the right, using the drop-down, contractors will indicate whether the usage is state or local. Then going across the page, you will specify the agreement number, the user agency name, the personnel classification used, and the rates and number of hours. After entering into all of the fields, the totals will automatically populate back into the quarterly summary page. The next screenshot shows the subcontracting detail tab. If subcontractors were used, all applicable information must be entered here. There are also drop-downs here to help and assist you with the entries. And finally, to the lower right side of the page are example tabs that you can click on, showing what a properly completed subcontracting or usage details report page will look like. These examples will be helpful and a useful tool to assist you in making the entries. Okay, we'll move on to the local agency incentive fees. For all local agency orders, there is a 1.25% incentive fee that must be paid to DGS by the contractor. This is not applicable for state agency orders. If you executed orders with a local agency, you can make payments one of the following two ways. You can make payments either through the MSA payment portal, or you can submit a check. I will go over both of these two methods on the following slide. For electronic payments, contractors can submit the local agency incentive fee to the DGS PD LPA payment portal at the website link listed on the current slide that's displayed. If contractors are submitting an incentive fee payment by check, please submit the payment to the address that's also indicated on the current slide. You must indicate your MSA number on the check, as well as your organization's name. If you have additional questions regarding the quarterly reports or the incentive fee payments, feel free to reach out to me. At this time, we will begin the question and answer portion of the presentation. Please write out all of your questions in the chat and allow us approximately 5 minutes to review and consolidate the questions with responses. Thank you. Hello, everyone. We need a few more minutes and then we'll be back online. Thanks for your patience. Hello, everyone. We are back. I'm going to begin responding to the submitted questions, and please take note that they may not be answered in the order received. If your question is not addressed in this meeting, I will be sending out a complete list of questions and responses by email in the coming weeks. Okay, the first question. This is the first question. We've received several questions that are very similar regarding the presentation and slide deck. I'll read one of them and then provide an answer that should address the common concerns. Can we record the meeting, or will it be sent to us? And will the PowerPoint slides be provided to us? The meeting is being recorded. The recorded meeting and slide deck will be provided to any contractor that requests it. Please email your request, and the recorded meeting and slide deck will be provided. Next question. Are we typing our contract number? When searching for your MSA on CalifDGS, search by using your MSA number, which is the number that begins with 5-23-99-40. The last three digits of the MSA number is the number unique to your organization's MSA number. The next question, what is the incentive for user agencies to use this MSA? How is it to be marketed? Incentive fees are applicable only to orders issued by local government agencies, not orders issued by state agencies. The incentive fee amount is 1.25% of the total local agency's amount as identified in your quarterly report and is paid each quarter to DGS PD. The incentive fee cannot be added as any additional fee to the local agency. The incentive fee the incentive fee cannot be marketed since it is not an additional fee to the local agency. Next question. RFOs are for state agencies, local agencies to submit. How do contractors become aware of RFOs? State agencies are required to utilize the RFO process. Local agencies will conduct procurements under their local policies and procedures. Contractors will be sent RFOs. It will be up to the state agency to determine how they will contact contractors. The most common method for RFOs to be sent to contractors is by email. The next question. Can we see an email of what an RFO looks like? Each RFO may look slightly different. It is typically a PDF or Word document that identifies the user agency, contact information, background of the project, key action dates, and requirements for responding to the RFO. The next question. Are the usage report only contracts that have been approved through the CalifDGS website? If your MSA can be viewed on the CalifDGS website, then you have an awarded MSA and are required to submit a quarterly usage report. As a reminder, these reports are due even if there is no activity in that quarter. Next question. Can you please give details of what to fill in each cell? That's the cell in the quarterly report, I'm assuming. Each column header on the quarterly report template identifies what specific information must be entered. We encourage you to review the quarterly report template, and if you have specific questions on how to complete the recorded quarterly usage report, please email those questions to me. Okay. The next question. We submitted our quarterly report, but did not get any acknowledgement receipt. Is there a way to validate our submission? If you would like acknowledgement of receipt of your quarterly usage report, please ask that in your email submission or send a follow-up email requesting acknowledgement that your quarterly usage report was received. The next question. So, if a local government agency contracts with us, the contractor incurs a fee. There is a local governmental incentive fee of 1.25%, which is detailed in the MSA. The next question. So this is for the master agreement list. Do we register and then look for the funding opportunities? Once you have an awarded MSA, there's no registration process. Regarding funding, the user agency is responsible for allocating the appropriate funding for the project. The next question, do we complete the quarterly report if we have a contract? Yes. If you have activity with a local agency on your MSA during a quarter, then a quarterly usage report will have to be completed detailing that specific user agreement. And the next question, are executed MSAs only found on the CalifDGS website? All fully executed MSAs have been emailed to all awardees. They can also be obtained from the CalifDGS website. And the next question, this appears to be the final question. Can you go over the search engine specifics in terms of looking for things to bid on? I noticed education is very vague and would love to streamline the search to my organization. When a state agency utilizes the MSA, they will use the RFO process. So there is no area where contractors will be able to search for opportunities. Okay. Hello, everyone. We are back. I'm going to begin responding to this. Oh, excuse me. No. Okay, we are done with the question and answer portion of the presentation. We'll move on to some closing remarks. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for their participation in the Community Outreach and Education Services MSA Supplier Kickoff Meeting. A couple of key points that I'd like for you to take away from all of this. First of all, I emphasize that you should review your entire MSA carefully. Secondly, you should review the user instructions on the website as a helpful tool to understand the user agency's contractor selection process. That way, you will know how agencies will make contact with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And as a reminder, all questions will be answered and shared with the contractors via email. So that if you have any additional questions, we'll compile all those and then send those out at a later date. If you have any additional questions, I am here to help you. This concludes the Community Outreach and Education Services MSA Kickoff Meeting, and thank you all very much for attending.